p.m. My name is Kailo Sabone with Amantle Babili on sign language. On our headlines, nurses have been applauded for patience and dedication to their duty, while the Human Resource Index report points out rebounding by most countries from the pandemic-induced losses. And now in our news today, the President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, implored Botswana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mayfielder Kering, to promote and protect Botswana's national interests and enhance bilateral relations between the two countries, bidding Kering farewell to start her mission in Nigeria during a courtesy call to his office. President Masisi said there are a lot of untapped opportunities that Nigeria has to offer Botswana, including in the creative and innovation spaces, and therefore urged the new envoy to work tirelessly to explore new opportunities to benefit Botswana.
Botswana and Nigeria go back a long way. Nigeria was very supportive of Botswana, particularly in this region, for the liberation struggle of the region. It came very strongly. Nigeria hosted the first tech, big cultural extravaganza in the 70s. And Nigeria is home to a lot of creativity and ingenuity, including in the innovative space. So there's another side of Nigeria that people don't know as well, a very positive side to Nigeria. That's what we want us to do. And obviously look out for Botswana's interests and be frugal and be circumspect.
I like breaking new ground. I think the energies are good, even for my staff that side. They've been waiting. So we are ready to go and explore the opportunities from the positive side of Nigeria, to create opportunities for our people, for our economy, and to build the relationship that will also take not just our country, but also Africa to the next levels. I'm grateful.
And the Vice President, Reslam Tsuwane, has applauded nurses for their patience and commitment when carrying out their duties. Tsuwane was speaking earlier today when officiating at the International Nurses Day in Tabong, where he also highlighted the pivotal role that nurses are playing in uplifting and maintaining the health sector.
Our nurses are indeed our future. They are the heartbeat, as others have said, of our healthcare system and the lifeline of our communities. They are the ones who provide care when we are in our most vulnerable, offering not just medical assistance, but also emotional support and a comforting presence. As I said, when you are very sick, when you don't have hope, once you see a white attire, then you get much, much better. Nurses and midwives have a critical role in achieving universal health coverage, which means that everyone in the population has access to appropriate promotive, preventative, curative, and rehabilitative health care when they need it at an affordable price. The economic power of care is a concept that is often overlooked. We overlook it more often. However, the economic contribution of our nurses in our communities and the economy as a whole is immense, not just through the services they provide, but also through the ripple effects that their work has on other sectors.
Now, still on that one, the Minister for Health, Dr. Edwin D. Koloti, highlighted government's commitment to making sure that different health stakeholders collaborate for improvement of the nursing work environment. He also emphasized that the government will always respond in a timely manner to any concerns the nursing fraternity might have regarding their conditions of work.
As the Minister of Health, I truly get concerned when my ministry staff is not safe to do that job. I want to also take this opportunity to appeal to members of the public to help us safeguard the security of our nurses and other health professionals. We cannot afford to have a nursing sector that is unhappy and afraid to do its work optimally. As a ministry, we need to do more for our nurses and our health sector at large. No one can ever forget the crucial role that the nurses play in our lives and those of our people.
Now, the president of the Botswana Nurses Union, Peter Baleseng, applauded the government for promoting nurses to higher ranks to ensure they are included in decision-making processes. Nurses across the country commemorated that day in Tsabong. This year's celebration recognizes the nurses' contribution towards healthcare systems and economic stability of communities.
As a nursing community and as nurse leaders, we applaud the government for introducing that position of a director. It's a plus again, Minister, and it's a plus again, PS for the government. The position is internationally leading. We have talked about chief nursing officers, honorable Minister, One Health, and I don't want to lie, that positions for chief nursing officer across all the HMTs. Mafase a hatetse pele when nurse le bona ba eletsa gore ba ka bonwa le ba rute ba joine dipolitiki ha lo rasa se ba le sai gore ke basadi. You must empower them, you must elect them. Le le go parliament le go get ticket as special elected. Please dedicate one, just one, for a nurse.
Now, more than 180 million pula has been used to procure resources for schools to address various challenges this financial year. Addressing a press conference in Gaborone on Wednesday, the Assistant Minister for Education and Skills Development, Naniki Makwinja, says the intention is to enhance the quality of education and improve academic performance by ensuring that schools are well equipped. Meanwhile, teachers were encouraged to strive for improved academic outcomes for their students.
The Ministry of Education and Skills Development is actively working to tackle the challenges encountered in government schools. The aim is to implement measures that align with the goals of Vision 2036. The authority highlighted that the ministry is committed to fostering a culture of mindset change to enhance the current state of government schools.
We have bought those 297 vehicles to help you do your work much better. We acknowledge that there is serious shortage of transport, particularly in our boarding schools. My ministry did not just procure vehicles, but rather a wide array of furniture and equipment, which will also go a long way in aiding the teaching and learning process.
The current focus is on addressing the critical lack of resources, which has been linked to poor academic performance.
We've engaged our contractors in some schools. Baya, Musa Motoko, Elebatwa. Baya, Bahotohela, Honsela. The legal improver, but you go to the whole class, but there are my people to have the foundation about. There are so many things that has happened.
We believe that as a ministry, we have the potential to shine. The journey of quality, they say, you never reach a destination. You improve every day. With the direction, the support, and the guidance of our honorable ministers, we are blessed to have three. And I believe you understand why we have three. It's a big ministry and complex.
Teachers have been encouraged to prioritize teaching and strive for improved academic outcome for students. Mpao Kelebogen, BTV News, Gaborone.
Now, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Lemohang Kwape, says developing countries, including Botswana, should make use of available resources to recover from the impacts of COVID-19. He was discussing the findings of the 2023-24 Human Development Index report, which indicates that countries are on the rebound from pandemic-induced losses. The report shows that Botswana is excelling in balancing the development of both men and women, although a lot is to be done to address the issue of inequality on the income per capita.
In the previous global report, a decline in Human Development Index was recorded in the years 2020 and 2021, which was due to COVID-19 pandemic. However, the world is starting to slowly recover, though many countries will not be able to reach their previous development trends of 2019. Enhanced multilateral cooperations between countries was said to be key, with developing countries capacitated to leverage on their resources to address any Human Development Index values declines.
Only about half of the least developing countries are projected to recover as depicted, and again you refer to the figure S2. And you can only imagine why we in the global south, because on the main is us in the global south, are very slow to recover. Well, I have a theory. I think we do not add value to what we have, because for sure we have more than everybody else, but the value is added elsewhere. That's why the recovery is much better elsewhere. So I think that is a clarion call to us. What do we do with our resources so that we can recover quickest?
The uneven recovery stemming from failures of managing challenges of living in an interdependent world. The interdependency of all our countries is key, and we are not managing it well. The report indicates 3 different directions of actions that could help in this regard. First is to ease polarization by recognizing that there's a whole lot where interests overlap. We have common interests.
The Global Index report on human development shows that Botswana is excelling in balancing the development of both men and women, but with much needed to be done to address the issue of inequality on income per capita.
The figure is that Botswana is doing even better than Rwanda with this indicator. It's very, very, very important. But we can see that when we take the indicators that are composite of the index, where there is a problem is the GNI per capita.
The Global Index report on human development was said to be a vital tool to help countries to draft targeted policies to help empower individuals, enhance inclusiveness, and address many other different human development issues. Kilikelezwe, Somulekai, BTV News, Gaborone.
You're watching BTV News, and thank you for staying with us. Now, in the search for Okavango's fastest polar, the Nkashi Classic race was in Igora village, where polars from villages located near the Okavango Panhandle locked horns in a race to reach the semi-finals. The Nkashi Classic heat started in Sironga village, and the final leg for the heats will be held in Boro and Mau, respectively, where polars will compete for a space in the finals. The
Nkashi Classic Ngogoro race that is set for July 20th will be on its 7th edition and will be held in Maung. This year, a new category has been introduced called the mixed race, where both males and females will be competing. There are different categories in the Nkashi Classic races. However, the mixed double race category will be done for the first time this year. We are impressed as many have already started registering for the race. The importance of this event is to help preserve the culture, which is why we have also added the youth so that they do not forget their culture.
re baballe re sireletse ha bona ngwa go re tsentse le banana ha re batlo re ba latlhe ngwa o e botlhokwa tlhokwa go dua mokoro re baballe re sireletse ha bona ngwa go re tsentse le banana ha re batlo re ba latlhe ngwa o e botlhokwa tlhokwa.
Ikoha village leadership appreciated the competition and pleaded for the finals to be held in their village in the coming seasons.
Ke tsela gore re mo ngwageng wa bobedi dikgaisano tse di tshwarelwa mo motseng wa Ikoha last year re kile ra bona ba Nkashi classic ba le hone.
This is the second time Nkashi comes to Ikoha village. Our expectation is for the final competitions to be hosted in our beautiful village.
Isano gongwe makhaola khang a tisitswe ha mo bontente jo bokana-kana jo ke keletso ya rona mme hela ra tshepa gore gongwe ngwaga o ta re ta bona makhaola khang a le hone ha ke tsholohelo ya rona ba gaetsho batho ba tlo go bona makgobokgobo a mante ya.
Participants and competitors applauded the race, citing it helps preserve their culture. Growing up, we learned that using Mekoro is part of our culture in Okavango. We can travel from here to Seronga and even transport tourists. The Nkashi Classic team was accompanied by the Nkashi Knowledge Bus to engage villagers and the pollers on financial literacy and smart agricultural farming. Dubisan Gelatibe, BTV News, Ikoha.
Now, another news, government has invested over 33 million pula into the Bubira restocking and relief program, in which a larger share was spent in procuring livestock, inclusive of cattle, goats, sheep, and donkeys. This livestock is dispatched to the victims of cattle rustling across the Botswana and Zimbabwe border over the past 40 years. Most of the funds landed in the hands of citizens through the procurement of livestock and services such as transport, while some have been channeled towards operations of the program. This was shared by the Bubira Restocking and Relief Program Coordinator, Retebe Yame Iole Karumulusi.
These genetically improved quality breeds of cattle are some of the 2,827 and 97 starred breed bulls, inclusive of Brahma, Limousin, Simmental and Shirley, that were procured to compensate the cattle rustling victims who were identified and verified through a thorough, comprehensive process. These are the cattle that we procured, and they are two-tooth. Prices for the heifers ranged from 5,000 pula each, the bulls for 15,000 pula each. Goats and sheep were procured at 1,000 pula each, while the donkeys were priced. 850 pula. In fulfilling the government's commitment to deploy sustainable solutions to the cattle rustling menace between Botswana and Zimbabwe, to restore the country's territorial integrity, resuscitate the local economy and uplift the lives of the affected communities, the farmers who sold their livestock to the government, along with other relevant businesses, heard a fair share from the funds allocated for the Bubira Restocking and Relief Program.
Considering
those who sold livestock to us in Zone 7 and the entire former Central Region, stretching to Mahalape, Shoshone, Tswapong and Boteti, we stimulated the financial muscle of the locals. Our trucks were not enough, so we outsourced the transport service from the locals to deliver these cattle to the beneficiaries. By so doing, Botswana made an income. I provide transport services to the farmers, delivering their livestock safely to their kraals. I am also a beneficiary of the restocking program. I am grateful while I await delivery of a bull. Additionally, interventions provided by the government through a multi-sectoral approach in delivering the promise made to Bubirwa communities are resources inclusive of the latest model Land Cruiser vehicle worth 740,000 pula donated to Mepato, APC specialized security patrol vehicles worth approximately 9 million pula deployed at the Botswana and Zimbabwe borderline, increasing security agency camps and troops, among other interventions, since September 2021 when the journey began. Karabo Mulusi, BTV News, Bobonong.
And that's how we end our bulletin this hour. Thank you very much for staying with us. And Tabuhang is standing by to give you sports update.
Thank you very much, Kaelo Sabone. Now in context, the sports news follows with me, Tabuhan Sebetlela. As a way of improving women refereeing locally, Botswana Football Association organized to host women's referees intermediate course for regional referees from across the country. This was said by the referees manager at BFA Podiso Rasatoga at the end of the week-long course held at the Kiri Football Center in Gaborone. Kagiso Molelekwa.
This batch of men's referees attended the basic referees course last year, and the BFA therefore found it necessary to organize the intermediate referees course as a way of improving the standard of women refereeing locally. The referees, who come from 16 BFA regions, did two aspects of the course, being the technical and the physical aspects.
Re tlameha gore re ba tlhatlose ka ditutego ba tsene mo intermediate re tle re ele tlhoko gore ba eleng gore ba ka tlhatisiwa le ka maemo go officiate at national level ke bo mamba le gore ba supa gore ba na le bokgoni ba go ka officiate at national level ya no ba ba ha ba ke ba eleng gore ba tswahela go beginners ba irile beginners course ya no ba tsena mo intermediate mme mo godimo ga go gape re na le ba youth referees ba le gore ba irile youth referees course e le bomme ya no bone ga ra ba akaretsa ha re letetse gore ba tle ba kgone gore ba ire beginners pele ba tle ba kgone go tsena mo intermediate.
Re ba hanela di match situations and they have to analyze those match situations the game, and then from there ba have feedback on their analysis as to whether they are doing well or if there's any area of improvement ba ka improve and then after that hona di practical gape le ko mabaleng ko ileng gore teng gape whatever that we teach in class we take it to the field yaanong ile practically ba go dira yaanong re bona gore se ba se ithutileng a mme can they apply it in the field of play.
For their part, the referees revealed that they've learned a lot from the course and they promise to apply what they've learned going forward.
We've been taught the technical issues, the physical issues, and basically working on yourself as the referee, because from the lessons that we had, it's not all about being technically focused. You have to be physically fit, and you have to be mentally fit for you to be a referee. Things that we were not really considering.
The week-long women's referees intermediate course follows the basic referees course, which was held last year, and is expected to upskill the participants to be promoted from regional football to officiate at the national level, specifically the First Division and Premier Leagues. Kagiso Molelekwa, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
Moving on to the local Premier League, Township Rollers walloped Wally Ghost by 4-0 in week 27 match of Botswana Premier played yesterday at the National Stadium. Popa's goal came through Mogagolo Ngele's brace, Penyo Saraming and Thabo Rakale. Let's take a look at the match highlights.
Arebone Toto, le Prince Bojang, Mohakuludi, Ebele Bergatiro Bonale Bota, Katola Bubedi Toto, Abaya Tayale Letoa. Mohakuludi Ngele Hokanela Jalo Popando and Takatapili. Morahaware Efele Moleboting. La Holy Ghost. Mea Bola Bohana Hape Mohakuludi. Lenoning. Warumela Mokote Haufi. Pakola. phenyewa ka serameng washa a bano sa jalo ya bobedi ya popa go ka netefatsa gore indeed ba kwa the halftime break ba tshware katapele ya dino di le pedi. Chance for Mohakuludi go dira goal number 12 tota bara very simple cool calm Tsotsongele ra go holi bona Thabo ra khale santse ke tlhalosa ka gagwe le ka ona le la ga Thabo ra khale.
A difficult game, but nevertheless I felt that the boys gave it their best in terms of effort. The effort was there. We could have scored at least 2 goals, but nevertheless they didn't come. You know, it's a sign of a season that has not been good, that even when you could be getting the goals, are not coming. But we keep fighting. You know, if you are still alive, you still fight. We're still alive. I think Township, they are a difficult side because they are also fighting to try and get into the number 2nd spot now as it is. But I think we fought well. You know, I think their performance was to be expected because, you know, they were coming from another 4-0 victory last weekend. You know, you've got to congratulate them for the victory. But you are not always having an easy game against our top anywhere in the world. You know, you've got to go in there and be ready to give it a fight.
No, we tried to play. We played better than the game that we have lost. It was a better game in terms of scoreline, but it was not better than the last game that we played. We should be seen to be progressive. The last game we won 4. Today I thought maybe we could win 5 or 6. It could have been a progressive margin line, but we take that 4 and our 3 points and we go home.
In other Botswana Premier League matches played yesterday, Traffic continued to put pressure on Police 11, beating them 1-0, while relegation candidates Murupule Wanderers beat Nico United 1-0. Second placed Gaborone United defeated VTM by 0-0. Challenge Galaxy and Matebele shared spoils after playing 2-2 draw. So Flamingos beat Orapa United 1-0. In an effort to promote and stimulate growth in local women's football, Botswana Women's Football leadership are revising and revamping the strategic plan. Bamelo Koma and Michelle Sekopo with the report.
The commitments and objectives outlined in the strategic plan were established to aid in promoting women's sports consist of 4 pillars, which include coaching and capacity building, grassroots initiatives, and the development of football players, among others.
4 pillars.
The strategy is made of 4 pillars drawn from FIFA and CAF strategies, and they are coaching and capacity building, grassroots and player development, changing perception and structure, as well as administration.
The sport, originally concentrated in the south, specifically in Gaborone and Kweneng regions, has experienced significant growth in recent years, as there are women's football teams in almost every region of the country.
We had Gaborone, we had Kweneng, we had Sofa, and we have one team from Serowe, very another one team from Francistown, and that was it. And
initially, most teams in the north couldn't play. Only those in the south could. However, when women's football expanded to other regions, we began to see growth.
Although they remain eager to ensure the game's progression, women's football leadership also encounters numerous challenges, including the low number of women in administrative positions, as well as perennial financial difficulties.
We face a scarcity of women administrators in women's football. Many men may find it difficult to address certain needs, such as carrying sanitary pads for our women players. We require women who understand these necessities. We need women on the benches. Additionally, financial constraints pose a challenge. Our players lack shoes and kits, and our games are often not taken as seriously as men's. Conducting pre-match meetings in women's football is a difficult thing.
As a way forward, the leadership of Botswana Women's Football will need support in developing the sport, and they must start with parental support for their players. Michelle Sekopo, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
From In Context, the sports desk, that was all we had for you this hour. Until we meet again later in the day with our Stoner Bulletin. For now, thank you for staying with us and good afternoon.
We're working on overdrive towards making Botswana the backbone of quality breeding animals and germplasm, that's embryos and semen, sourced from world-renowned breeders. Procurement of dairy goats shows commitment of my government towards improving